This is Research and Statistics Guide, and my name is Dr. Felix Ayodele Ileye. Today we are looking at the topic Guide to Abstract Writing and Submission. Perhaps you are a postgraduate student or a young researcher, this video will be of a lot help to you. So today we're looking at how do you write an abstract, and what is the importance of learning how to write an abstract, and what are the procedure for submitting an abstract. Now, to start with, an abstract is a concept that gives a vivid information or a summary of your research work or research of a particular study. And today we look at the guidelines that conferences and journals often provide to guide in abstract writing. Now, what is an abstract? An abstract, again, is a summary of your research projects. After you have conducted your research and you have done the analysis of your finding, the usual thing to do at the end of every study is to write an abstract. It is a brief and concise summary of the entire work you have done. Now, the essence of writing an abstract is to communicate the key ideas about your methods, about your results, about your findings. And your abstracts can help to determine the suitability of your study to a particular journal or a particular conference. It is used to establish how publishable your work is at the end of the day. So the skill in abstract writing is very, very key in academic research. You must be able to summarize the entire study as much as possible in such a way that somebody can have a clear overview of what you have actually discovered in your research. Now, there are types of abstracts. We have four basic types: the descriptive, the informative, the structured abstracts, and of course we have the unstructured abstracts. The descriptive abstract focuses on the purpose, or call it the objective or the background of your study, and then it looks at the scope and the method you use for your research. Now, the second category or type of abstract is the informative abstracts. Now, this one includes the background, or call it the purpose of your study, the methods you actually employed, the results you obtained, and the conclusion, or even the recommendation that you're going to get at the end of the day. While the structured one talks usually about maybe a concept of your study. But for most parts, you're going to be working with informative type of abstracts, which follows the typical and the conventional structure of abstract writing. So, talking about this informative concept of abstract writing, or the informative type of abstract, we have the background. Again, we describe it as the problem, introducing your audience or your reader to the problem that you intend to solve. Research is all about solving problems. Now, you want to also establish the reason for solving that particular problem. What did you aim to find at the end of that particular study? That is where the objective comes in. And then the method you employ, the techniques, the approach, the design, the sampling approach, you want to explain all that. And then the results that you came up with. And then you have the conclusion. Now, in abstract writing, you must be able to coin each of these sections in a very short statement, maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 at most in abstract writing. Now, it's also important you appreciate certain key guide in writing an abstract. Number one, it must be concise. And most conferences will always tell you not to write beyond 300 words. Some will typically tell you 250 words. Now, it's important to stick to that particular instruction. And again, it should be written in past tense, except you have just conducted this. Maybe a study that is still ongoing, and you have just done a portion or a part of the subject. But in most cases, an abstract is supposed to be written in simple past tense. Now, it's important you avoid abbreviation when you write abstracts, because you are not going to have the ample opportunity to begin to explain what your abbreviation actually means. So there must be clear definition of every term. And of course, you want to ensure you avoid citation as much as possible, except if there is a consideration for that. And then you must stick to the word count as I've earlier mentioned. Now, in writing abstract, it is important we take note of the following mistakes, which are very, very common. Number one, it mustn't be too vague. Even though we say it's a summary, but it must be comprehensive enough. You keep it short and you keep it informative. So, too vague, or it shouldn't be too detailed, because you have a limited word count that you must stick to. Now, it's also important to avoid an overuse of jargons. Technical words should be avoided as much as possible, except if these are registered terms that are very, very critical to convey the concept that is in question, in focus. Now, again, it's also important to ensure that the result is clear. The conclusion is also clear. In a statement, in 2 statements at most, you must be able to give a conclusion of your work. Very, very important. And again, submission of guideline. Every conference will always give a guideline on how to submit your abstracts. They're going to tell you the deadline. It's important to stick to the deadline. Some conferences will make use of a different online portal, like the editorial manager. It's important we get familiar with how to use online portal to submit our abstracts. Online portals are just like templates that will actually help you to submit your abstract according to the specification either of the conference organizer or even of the journal. Some journals organize conferences so that before an abstract or a research is published on their journal, it must go through the process of abstract validation before it could be considered eligible for publication on their platform. So it's important we get ourselves familiar with the procedure of that particular conference. Now, the final checklist is that all key sections must be included. You must include the background, or call it the purpose of the study. You must ensure the objective of the study is clearly outlined. The results, the methods, and of course, the conclusion must be clearly outlined. It must be written in a clear and concise language, and it must match the purpose of the paper. It's important we know if our paper fits a particular conference. Otherwise, visibility can become a problem if your paper may be lost in the pool of a different field, an irrelevant field. So it is important. So usually, every conference organizer will ask you for your email addresses, your phone number, your institution website, so that those information can actually be captured on your abstract. Most conferences, at the end of the conference, they produce what you call book of proceeding. So this is a kind of highlight of how the conference went and the various activities that actually took place in the conference. So this is the much we're going to take on research and statistics today. Please stick with me on this channel as I take you through the basic information that will help you in your research journey. I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for listening.